So whenever I found this, we had a little bit of a discussion initially where it was, the sentiment was brought up that with as expensive as the world is getting, people don't really have money to pay for things like subscriptions anymore. And I agree with that. I think the world is getting stupid expensive. I think it's a we quite often, it seems like anymore we're moving closer and closer into this like dystopian nightmarish future of most people not being able to pay for just the necessities of life because everything's getting more expensive. People are not getting paid more to do their jobs. There are a small number of people in the world that sit on these piles of most of the world's money while everybody else struggles to make it paycheck to paycheck. And it's quite often, if you haven't heard it referred to, it's like the baby crushing machine. You know what I mean? It's where it's like, basically everybody is just, there's this small amount of people that sit up on top, and they just basically are the ones that make all this happen to us. And it does feel that way quite often. Everything keeps getting more expensive. Everybody else struggles day to day. Nobody gets paid more. Everything gets more expensive. It's a rough look at things, man. So I don't disagree necessarily. It's a rough look. I know a lot of people struggle day in and day out, and I understand that sentiment. I really do. On the other front, though, I think when you look at a company like Twitch, you can't look at this as a short-sighted kind of scenario here. The subscription base that they take a cut from, right? Like, for instance, if you're not aware, anybody that subscribes in this channel, a percentage of that goes to Twitch, right? I get to have this channel here for free on their platform. It costs me nothing. I get to do this day in and day out without paying them anything, besides the fact that anytime anybody subscribes, they take a cut of it, right? As well as they get to run ads. I have ads cut down to the greatest extent possible that I can control, but it's inevitable that ads run, especially if you're not a subscriber, right? So ads will run. And that's another thing. This is a good segue for what I was going to talk about. Twitch has other ways in which they make money. Ad space is one of them. They run a lot of ads. So they are able to make money off of ad space, marketing, things like that. They also, I think that they've had some bad business practices in the past that has led them to this point. We just found out the other day that they're firing roughly a third of their employee base. And it's, I mean, admittedly, it's a scary thought as to what that means for myself and many of the other, basically every content creator on this platform, right? It's a rough look. If they're just going to continue to, this is not the first time recently that they've fired people either. They continue to do this. So they're firing 30% of their employees. That's 500 people. If they just keep doing this and going, well, we're not profitable, we're going to keep firing people. We're not profitable, we're going to keep firing people. There's not going to be, there's not going to be a platform left. So I've already worked on trying to make sure we have a backup plan for our community to transfer over to another platform if, that ends up being the thing we need to do. So I'm trying to be proactive in that situation. But I've enjoyed Twitch for a long time, and, I'm comfortable here. It doesn't mean that, we won't need to switch over or something, but it feels bad to watch this platform degrade the way it feels like it has. And when you hear a company talk about, well, the platform's just not profitable. Well, why is it not profitable though? You know, and like I said, when we had somebody talking earlier about just people can't afford to subscribe anymore because the world's too expensive or whatever. Okay, to an extent, I'll buy a little bit of that. Okay, but also you've got to take a look at, you know, what has Twitch done in the past that's put them in this position as a business? They have handed over multi-million-dollar contracts to so many of these broadcasters also that probably hasn't paid off for them, has it? You know, you want to talk about so many of these businesses, whether it be tech businesses or gaming businesses, and we talk about this all the time in the gaming news segments, that are constantly firing people right now, right? But they don't give you any insight as to what's led them to these predicaments. And a lot of it, I feel like, has to be mismanagement, bad business practices, bad investments, you name it. But they don't talk about that, do they? They just go, oh, well, we're not profitable right now. And what's their immediate action? Fire people. They fire mid-level to low-level employees, right? And the people that made those bad investments and made those bad business decisions are normally higher-level employees who still get to sit there and pull in their big fat paychecks. But they don't talk about this kind of stuff, right? So I think it's a bit short-sighted to go, well, they're not profitable anymore because maybe not as many people are able to subscribe. I don't think that's the majority of what the problem is here, okay? I think a big part of the problem is that most of these businesses have gotten themselves into bad predicaments and bad situations with bad business decisions. Some of it probably has to do with maybe a lack of subscriber base from what they had previously, but we would need those numbers to see, right? And they never give us that information. So let's read this and then we can have a discussion about this as well. Twitch CEO claims the platform is not profitable after the latest round of layoffs. Dan Clancy, CEO of Twitch, justifies the 500 people layoff with a simple reason. According to him, the current platform is not profitable. But why, dude? The start of 2024 is not going well for the video gaming industry, which continues to be in a maelstrom of layoffs. Streaming platform Twitch was recently hit with a round of mass layoffs that affected about 500 employees, or about a third of the company, like I just said. According to Bloomberg estimates, a few days later, Twitch CEO Dan Clancy publicly commented on the situation. For the executive, it's a simple matter. We are not profitable. But why? On Thursday, January 11th, Dan Clancy went live on Twitch's Twitch account to shed some light on the layoffs with a third of the company's staff earlier this year. He was blunt. We aren't profitable at this point. Amazon has been very supportive of Twitch, and a big part of being sustainable over time is ensuring that we don't lose money. Even after dominating the live stream industry, Twitch is still not profitable, confirmed by their CEO. We aren't profitable at this point. Amazon has been extremely supportive of Twitch. Clancy also blames the layoffs on the platform being bigger than we needed it to be, referring to the boom in numbers during the global pandemic. With movement restrictions and home confinement, many more people than usual started watching Twitch, leading to a huge growth of the live streaming site. However, those numbers began to decline as the lockdown ended in many countries. In terms of making decisions, we were bigger than we needed to be in terms of the size we needed to be to service your needs. And it's critical that Twitch is here not just today, not just tomorrow, but 50 years from now, 100 years from now. The company executive said regarding the latter statement, Clancy compared Twitch's situation to that of a large technology company, citing that this is not unique to Twitch. In fact, it's quite common for tech companies to size their organization, thinking about where they might need to be in 3 to 4 years. Referring to this overgrowth, he commented. Twitch was founded in 2011 and is owned by Amazon, Jeff Bezos' company. The purchase was made in 2014 for $1 billion. Twitch is a live broadcasting platform mainly focused on video games, although in principle it can broadcast other content such as talks or music as long as it complies with standards of decency. Nevertheless, the site has not been free of controversy regarding the content shown by some of its users, such as semi-nudity or gambling content. The platform's biggest content creators have turned their broadcast into a way of life. Twitch allows them to make money from user subscriptions and donations of bits, the platform's virtual currency. A large number of content creators being paid different amounts month after month could also be one of the reasons why the site's balance sheet is negative. like I said, they're not talking about the potential bad business decisions maybe they made with some of these large content creators being paid multi-million-dollar contracts that might not be paying off, right? Oh, no. They don't want to talk about that, right? All they want to say is, we overhired, right? But this is the way of all of these businesses. None of them want to be actually transparent. They want to glaze over what the real problem is with something default and basic and just act like this was maybe a minor issue of just a little bit of some overhire during the pandemic. And look, I've said this. I'll give some of these companies a little bit of leeway. Okay? During the pandemic, gaming got massive. You know what I mean? Hardware side of gaming was brutal. It was restricted significantly because we couldn't produce enough hardware, right? They're just the pandemic was really bad for being able to produce hardware, right? Factories were shut down, things like that. Supply couldn't meet demand. But as far as software was concerned and just getting people into gaming universes, it was booming. And so I agree. There was probably some overhire done. I without a doubt there was some overhire done. But do you think there was enough overhire done to justify how many layoffs have been seen over the past year plus? I don't think so. I think a lot of it comes down to bad business management, bad investments, and the people that pay the price are the lower people on the totem pole in these companies. And until we get clarity and transparency from these companies on what exactly led to this, which we won't get, right? We don't get it. There's a reason why we don't get it. They don't want to tell us the truth. They don't want to cop up to being wrong. It makes them look bad when they go, we're firing a bunch of employees because upper management messed up, right? That's why we don't get transparency. And therefore, the only thing that we should be assuming from these situations, in large part anyways, is that is in fact the situation. These companies have screwed up in a lot of bad business decisions. It has resulted in them being in the negative, or, their numbers looking very, very poor, and their immediate action is to fire people. It's terrible. It's terrible. And I think that's exactly what is happening here with Twitch as well. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens moving forward. I don't think it's a good look. It's concerning for me as an individual that does stream on Twitch too. And it's concerning for me in our community and what it means for us moving forward. But I have been proactive. I've got us situated to be able to transfer over to something else if we need to. I don't want to, but it might be an inevitability too. We'll just have to see how it goes.